What's up, guys? We got a brand new code, and today we're going to be going over the new highest damage units in All-Star Tower Defense. So drop a like on the video, and I'll drop the code right now so you guys don't have to wait. All right, thank you guys for dropping the like. All right, here we go. The new code, only in private servers, is right here. 185 likes. All right, we're going to get Cookin' Love. Ooh, is that a oh, that's actually pretty cool. So basically it's like a one-time emote that might not ever exist again. So make sure you guys redeem the code ASAP. 15 trader rolls, 10 stat dice, 10 bounty cubes, 500 gems. Also, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. We are on the road to 1 million subscribers, and we got lots of other bonus giveaways coming along as well. So smash the subscribe button if you guys want a chance to be a millionaire. Let's get it. All right, guys, so this is the official leak, guys. It just got, I guess, leaked or posted. So let's go take a look at the new highest damage units in the game. Let's start off all the way at the bottom. I think this is mainly for 5 stars, not counting like really trash units. So at the bottom of the list, guys, we have our GOAT Blackbeard. This guy is the worst damaging unit in the game, but it makes sense because he's a support unit. All right, guys, so his DPS is only 1400. Wow, that's actually pretty bad, guys. 1400 DPS. Whoa. Now that is per unit, so factoring in how many you can place, it's up to 5,000. We'll probably be focusing more on this because this is kind of the more important number. All right, guys, next up we have the 4-star combos. If you guys don't know, these 4-star combos are as good as some of the weaker 5 stars. So please use these combos if you are a new player and not that lit in the game yet. Now you're going to see he's doing 50% more damage than Blackbeard is doing, and that's actually pretty nice. All right, next up we have Whitebeard. Now the reason Whitebeard is so low on this list is because of his AoE. So his AoE makes him a little bit worse, but he still has 9,000 DPS, which isn't that much less than a lot of other units on this list. All right, next up we have another 4-star combo, and that is Naruto and Sasuke 4-star. Now both of these 4 stars are available in the banner, so they are not a bad bet. If you guys, don't have your first 5-star yet, go with the 4-star fusion. These have a high group DPS of 9,726. All right, next up we have Gojo. Now Gojo is another support unit. He's of course a time stopper, and he has line AoE, which is kind of bad, and I guess better than circle, which is better than most of these. And let's just say his DPS is not very high at all. And in fact, it's actually kind of low. And I don't know why these numbers are a little bit different than each other, but yeah, let's just say not the greatest. All right, but he's line AoE, so he gets a little bit of an advantage. Deodara, now Deodara is kind of full AoE. It's kind of complicated. And that's kind of why the DPS is lower, but 3,000 is pretty decent. But you can only place 3 of them, not 4. So that's why it looks really high on the single DPS. So Deodara is definitely one of the units you might want to consider getting the all-star trade on if you, of course, can get the 1 in 1,400 odds. All right, next up we have Goku and Vegeta 4-star. Now this is another, I think this is the best. Tundra obviously and Nezuko were good, and Goku and Vegeta were good. So these two, we'll just go over them together. Close to 10,000 DPS. Very, very good, guys. These are the combos you guys are going to want to get. Next up, surprisingly low, we have Frieren at number 24. Now Frieren is a big circle AoE, you guys can see by this number right here, and DPS 10,000. Now I actually did just get Frieren, so hopefully Frieren's better than that. This might change though. I forget if this is going to show us Ascended or not later on. We'll see. Our Ulquiorra is also kind of low on this list. We got 10,000, so we're kind of crossing into the 10,000 range. Next up we have SSJ Broly and SSG Goku. These are both kind of mid units as far as damage goes, but you get line or circle depending on which one you want. They are kind of middle of the pack. All right, next up we have a few other units. So KCM Naruto, I believe this is, I think this is if you evolve the 4-star Naruto into this guy. Circle AoE and pretty decent DPS. 12,000 is actually pretty high for this list. Sukuna, a lot of people are wondering if he's good or not. Again, stat wise, not too bad. Number 18. All right, Kokishibu, surprisingly, is pretty low on this list. Number 16 along with Ginjo. Now the reason that is because of how good the cone is AoE wise. Very, very good cone AoE. Same with Ginjo, and that's kind of why their DPS is a little bit lower on the list. So keep that in mind. And all right, next up we have Some other units, Aqua. This is from the dungeon. Not many people have this unit yet. Almost none do. DPS insane. So Aqua definitely worth it to get. Actually good in this game. All right, Hollow, Ichigo, and Ishtar. Ishtar's a really good dungeon unit. Now these bad boys, honestly, you know, what I want, have decent DPS. All right, let's skip a little bit. SSW and Igris is kind of weird because of the summon, but if you factor them in together, 14,000 DPS, not too bad. Death is also pretty good DPS. Scrolling on up. Now top is actually Ulikiora Mercy, SSJ Broly Full Rage, Mihawk, but Mihawk has that tiny cone. I have Mihawk Ascended, that cone AoE is tiny. That's kind of why it's high. But the number one unit, guys, is the 0.01% boundless unit, and that is 1979. It is pretty crazy. Now Yuno is up here high on this list as well, but the problem with Yuno is you guys can kind of see what the range is looking like. I don't know, they have the range listed here, 7 range. So yeah, it's kind of high, but the range kind of sucks. So that's kind of sad. Let's take a look at some other special units here on the list. And that is Aaron Attack Titan. Now the nice thing about Aaron Attack Titan is you don't actually even need to ascend him. He is built-in OP. So built-in stats, already has this kind of damage. Like, dude, Aaron, if you guys are a new player, this is one of the first mythics I recommend you get. He does not require any ascension. I will also say Frierin's ascension is rather easy as well, but the DPS does not quite match. And that's kind of okay because of the bigger circle AoE and also kind of the large range. 42 range is kind of high on this list. Ishtar has infinite range, which is a pretty cool feature. And the nice thing about Ishtar is pretty high DPS. But I will say from me seeing people using Ishtar, I believe she has a smaller circle AoE or not that great circle AoE. But she does have that crazy range and a very, very slow SPA. So she's kind of cool with that feature. Also, one thing I will note, guys, is not many units in this game have good AoEs. You guys can kind of see on this list, only Deodara and Whitebeard have full AoE. So full AoE just isn't common in this game like it was in OG ASTD. So that's kind of something that's a little bit on the interesting side. Also, the DOTs are also kind of different in this game. I wanted to cover that. So DOTs usually stack, but they're not as powerful. Back in the old days, like if a bleed unit said 100 damage, it was doing 100 times 5. So like 500 damage for bleed. But bleed, etc., they usually stack, but they don't do multiples of the damage. They do like a decimal of the damage, like a percentage of the damage. So DOTs are not as strong in this game, but some of them have other cool perks. Like I know bleed makes the enemy take more damage, and burn just does a lot more. So there's not really a whole lot of good DOT in this game. I feel like they're going to add some more DOT in later updates, so keep that in mind as well. So what units should you guys go for, in my opinion? Well, if you guys are looking for your first mythic, I don't think you can go wrong. If you're just looking for a pure DPS, going wrong with Aaron Attack Titan. He's pretty good. I have beaten a lot of things with Mihawk, so Mihawk isn't too bad. Frierin's also not bad either. I feel like the main thing is you're going to want to make sure you guys have your elements covered. So you kind of want to know like what's the best unit with each of the elements. That way you're going to be able to take on all of the stages. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you soon, and enjoy the code. Peace.